Hey, everybody. Hey, it's been a minute. It's been a very, very long minute, couple weeks that I came and addressed you on this podcast. Man, family, spring breaks, Easter, family things get in the way of somebody that really is trying to achieve greatness. I'm trying to be more consistent at this side of the podcast world. But hey, man, sometimes when the family calls, that's more important than a podcast, obviously. Nonetheless, thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for everyone who is watching. Please like, comment below. Let me know how your Saturday is. It's a beautiful day here in Northeast Ohio. It's like 55 degrees. I took my kids, my two daughters out on a little date. We went to McDonald's. They wanted to get some, I don't know, some toy, some card. I forgot the movie. It's some Netflix uh, movie. I don't even know. Don't even ask. I don't know why I even try to explain it. But I took them there. We had some fun. Took them to Target. Came home. Was like, I need to get this live done. And my wife's like, "Hey, you need to hurry up because I'm going out tonight with a friend." And I'm like, dad duty all by myself. This is gonna be fun. 3 kids against me. I wonder who's gonna win that one. Odds are the kids. But before I get into anything I need to say today, first and foremost, I want to say we have a huge announcement. Well, I get to announce this for the first time on my podcast. The Bearded Browns podcast will be doing a draft party on draft night, April 23rd at 7 p.m. from 7 to 11 now. From 7 to 11, we'll be at PJ McIntyre's. We're gonna talk draft. We're gonna be live. We're gonna we're gonna do great things. We got a lot of cool things happening. All State's gonna be there. All State Insurance is going to give free drinks out to those who sign up for a quote. So you give her your number, you fill out some information, and she will buy you a drink. Now, how many draft parties have that going on? Not too many. Not too many are saying, come to the draft party and we'll give you a free drink. And it's a free entry. You don't have to even pay to come in. You just come in and you enjoy the draft with us, get to watch what the Browns are going to do. It's going to be a fun night. So come on now. James Frank said, wiling out on draft night. Exactly. I mean, think about that. All you need to do is a 5-minute probably questionnaire, and then you get a free drink on Allstate. Shout out to Allstate, our sponsor. Secondly, Cleveland Ketchup is going to be there. Cleveland Ketchup is going to be there. I don't know what they're going to be there doing. Probably getting up some samples, maybe trying to give you some of their ketchup, which is amazing. Their mustard is amazing. The chips are going to pass out chips for everybody, free chips. You get beer and chips at our draft party for free. If you're not coming, I'm blaming you for not. This is free. This is all inclusive. Like you come in and you get a drink and a bag of chips right away. There's also a couple drawings that we're going to do for gifts. A huge plaque of our framed Myles Garrett signature. The Browns backers, West Park's Browns backers will be doing raffles. $20 for arm length of raffle tickets for $20. Come out. It's going to be fun. We got a couple raffles we're going to do personally on the Bearded Brown side of things. It's going to be great. James Frank says, who doesn't like chips? If you don't like chips, then you have a problem. I'm just saying. I'm not blaming you, but I'm blaming you. Second announcement, sponsor of the month, Clean Slate Clean Outs. Give them a call if you have anything to clean out. If it's a garage, you don't feel like spring cleaning by yourself, call this company out and let them know that the Bearded Browns podcast sent you. They'll come out and they'll clean out whatever it is and they'll haul it away and they'll throw it away for you. It's included in the price. So they'll come in, clean it, make it look nice and neat, right in time for some spring cleaning. It's going to be a fun event for you. You don't have to worry about it. You get a couple of men or women, whoever works with the company, they're going to be lifting and throwing. So give them a call and sponsor. Let them know that the Bearded Browns podcast sent you. And we'll get some credit for it. Secondly, I have to give a shout out to my favorite sponsor, Rest and Renew Counseling. That's right, Rest and Renew Counseling. We all need to talk to somebody every now and then, right? If you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad week, if you're going through some depression, if you have some stuff with you mentally that you just need to get off your chest and you need to talk to a therapist, give Jennifer Ortiz a call today at Rest and Renew Ohio That's restandrenewohio.com. You'll go there. You'll see that she has 15 years of experience. She gives you a free 15-minute assessment where you can just get here and talk to her about your problems, and she can help you through every stage in life in which you're going for. If you don't want to give her a call, which is her number is 216-815-1728. That's 216-815-1728. You can email her at Jen Ortiz at restandrenewcounselingohio.com. That's Jen Ortiz at restandrenewcounselingohio.com. And it's a win-win because you get help. She loves helping people, so everyone wins in that scenario. Listen, I don't want to take light at how important it is for therapy, and some people need to, to talk to somebody, but it's fine. You can go to talk to somebody. I do it occasionally, especially if you're getting older and you need to recalibrate yourself, or if you're going through a situation in life where you need some answers. You need to talk to somebody out privately who will not tell a soul, by the way, because she's legally obligated to not tell anybody. So give her a call today, and she's a great therapist. She's been doing it for 15 years. Trust me, she is an amazing person to talk to because she's my wife. Not because she's my wife, because she's just an amazing person to talk to. Nonetheless, let's get into it today. Thank you guys for tuning in. First and foremost, I have a poll that I want to give you guys today. This poll is right here. Show who should the Browns draft at 6? You do your pick. You want a wide receiver, best offensive lineman, or best player available? Comment below on who that is. Take the poll and then comment below. It's just going to be up there all this whole live. I'm not sure how you can vote, but this is something new that they just posted up. I thought I would try it. So give me a vote. It's going to be up there all show, and then at the end of it, we'll talk about it. Speaking of draft, the Browns had a couple of linemen come in this week. Couple of linemen, offensive linemen, Caden Proctor. And right away, a lot of people say Browns are really interested in Caden Proctor at 6. It's like, I hope not. I hope not. From everything I've been reading about Caden Proctor, he's he's a project, right? He's a project that he's a big guy. He's got a lot of upside, but the big thing on him is that he's going to need a lot of work, and taking him at 6 will be a reach. But he came in. Monroe Freeling came in, and Caleb Lomu came in. It seems like they had a 30 visit, all of them, this past week, maybe yesterday. Monroe Freeling, same thing. It seems like a lot of these tackles for me, a lot of them are like, it's going to take him a while. And if he doesn't work out, we're going to move him inside at guard. To me, taking any guard at 6, I'm moving away from that. We're going to talk about the draft here in a little bit. I'm moving away from taking it at 6. I want to move away from taking a lineman, offensive lineman at 6. Cody says, "How do you feel if they moved where to Brick Park?" Because I'm just playing. If they moved back, I would be okay with that. Actually, we're going to talk about that here in a second. But those 3 came in for a 30 visit, which a lot of. It seems like the trend here, if you follow the Browns draft since Andrew Berry's been here, he doesn't really draft anybody high unless they meet them on the 30 visit. So, and they've met a lot of people, a lot of wide receivers specifically. And let's get into that. As far as wide receivers that they had in for a 30 visit, they had 8. They had 8. Carnell Tate, Lemon, Jeremy Bernard, Denzel Boston. My favorite personally, Omar Cooper Jr. and Chris Bell from Louisville. Jason Tyson, Casey Concepcion, and Mekhi Lemon. I know I said him. So those 8 wide receivers they've had in for a visit. Derek West said wide receivers specifically. A lot of people are voting wide receiver number 1, which is great to see because I feel like a lot of fans have trending that way because of need. Like, we absolutely need a wide receiver desperately. I was on the Dogs podcast maybe a couple months ago, And I was on a couple of times, but a couple of them, this one time we were talking about who we had at wide receiver, and it's iffy, man. I know Todd Monken came on. I'm sorry, uh, Nathan Zagura came on the radio Friday 8:50 saying that Monken likes Bond a lot and look for him to be more of a deep threat. So I'm already on that. I think Bond and he's going to work well with the system in which Monken can draw up. I'm just worried about his route running. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be doing much route running. From what I've been reading, he's just going to be a deep threat, which is what his specialty is. And don't forget, Monken said that they're going to specialize on doing what players do best. They're not going to ask them to do anything else other than specifically what they do best. And what Bond does best is the deep ball. So we're going to have a deep threat in Bond, and we're going to see him slowly put pieces together. You got Fannin, you got Junkins, you got all these other pieces that he's going to kind of work together with. Is going to be pretty exciting to see how it works out. But for me personally, I would love the fact of there's two receivers that I like. Three receivers. I don't think Amari Cooper Jr. Maybe he will be, but two receivers I specifically want to talk about right now. It's Tate and Lemon. I think Makai Lemon and Tate is probably 1 and 2 on their board as far as receivers is concerned, because I think of what they can bring will help the offense out. Now, the other receivers, Tyson, if it wasn't for his injury history, I'd be very much interested in him. Very much interested in Tyson. I'm just worried. Being a Browns fan and always getting burnt, I worry about his issues with health. Anyone's issues with health, right? You draft a player with health issues, it seems to they don't get better in Cleveland, they just get worse. So for me, if you draft Tyson, it's like a wasted pick. um Maybe not. Maybe our luck will change and we'll draft him and he'll be exactly what the tape says he can be. Is a great standout receiver, but we'll see. But Tate for me and Lemon is 1 and 2 for me. Tate is the same height, same weight, sorry, as Lemon, 192 pounds, but his size advantage is 6'2". Uh, he has longer arms with 31.75 inches and huge hands at 10.25 inches. So that tells you why he's able to grab the ball so much when he is contestant catching. Consistent catching for him is high. Um, Quick Clip says route running gets you open, not just speed. 100% agree. That's why for me, Bond has to do more routes for me in order for me to be all in on him. I know they're probably excited for him for his speed that he has, but we'll see if he can. And maybe he didn't have an opportunity to run routes under Kevin's system. We'll see how that works out. But his consistent catch rate, Tate, is what I want to focus on right now. What I would love to focus on right now is his 53% target results in a first down or touchdown. That was second in his class while he was at Ohio State. While 17.7% of his receptions were touchdowns, were scores, which is ranked fifth in the NCAA college football last year. Tate was one of the best boundary receivers in the country last season, catching 12 of 14 consistent targets, which is an 85% catch rate, while catching 11 of 17 targets thrown over 20 yards or more downfield. So Tate is also a deep threat. And we don't see that. We don't understand that. Now, the knock on Tate is pure just insane to me. And we're going to get that in a second. But his according to Warren Sharp on X, Sharp Football, they say his 4.53, his 4.5340 was brought up as a negative at the NFL Combine, but it is not a because it is not a detriment because his ball tracking is as well as anyone in his class, as long as with great body control and a large catch radius. That's what you need. And I have a segment. I kind of did it before. And I'm gonna do it again. This segment right here is called the worst take of the week. Listen to this.
Week, someone logs onto the internet and chooses nonsense. Bad logic, zero shame. Welcome to the worst sports take of the week.
This is the worst.
The worst sports take of the week, actually, the last couple weeks for me, is the worry of Tate being not a number one. Their argument for Tate is, well, he might not be a number one because he played with Jeremiah Smith. He played with Jeremiah Smith, so there's no way he can be a number one. His speed, he's slow. He can't catch. But for those that say he doesn't have speed, you don't need speed to catch the ball. His ability to catch the ball is insane. Someone who can catch the ball 70, 80% of the time doesn't need speed because his route running will make up for his 40 time. Exactly, quick clips. Exactly what I was going to say. His route running ability and his catch ability, his catch radius will make up for it all. And I don't need I don't need him to be a number one in college to understand that he catches about 80% of the balls thrown to him, and that's a lot more than what's on our team currently. Carnell Tate will be a number one on this team, and he will increase the value of the other receivers on the field because the attention will go on him. If not, then the defenses will pay because Carnell Tate always gets open. And guess what? If he is being contested, he can still catch the ball. A lot of receivers can catch the ball wide open. Well, besides one on our team sometimes. But when a defensive back is on your back, can you catch it? To me, Carnell Tate's ability to catch when someone's draped on him is as important as him breaking a 4.3 40. Because if you can't catch, you have no good you have no value on an NFL football team. Carnell Tate may not have been Ohio State's number one receiver from a looks perspective, but he had one of the most insane seasons last year when it comes to ability to track and catch the ball. He was one of the top receivers last year in the NCAA college football. And there's no debate about it. There's no argument about it. And I know a lot of people are worried because Jeremiah Smith took attention from him. I understand all that. But if you can watch the tape, if you can see his ability to do what he does on the field, you would have no question that this guy can be a number one in the NFL. Ohio State, quick clip said it. Ohio State could possibly have had two number one receivers. And because Jeremiah Smith was on the other side, you're going to dismiss what Carnell Tate did on the other side. Maybe, just maybe, Ohio State's ability to develop and get wide receivers is impeccable because if you can watch, if you see what has happened there throughout the season, throughout the career since Ryan Day has been there with wide receivers, basically with Ryan Hartline, has been nothing short of amazing. Receiver after receiver. We said this about Najigba last year, a couple years ago when he came up. People said, well, he was with Smith. I don't know if he could be a number one. He's small. Smith took the attention away from him. And what's with Najigba? What is he doing in Seattle? He's just the highest paid receiver now. So to dismiss what Carnell Tate has done in Ohio State because he had a great receiver on the other side, or good, we don't know yet. Maybe supposedly one of the best in college football, is a slap to Carnell Tate's ability to be a receiver. Now he doesn't have, according to some stats I read, he doesn't have a lot of breaking tackles ability. I think he was like ranked 15th in the college football last year, but that doesn't bother me personally. He is 27% missed tackles forced. Not actually, no, sorry, that's a different receiver. I think he was ranked like 15th, between the 15th and 12th and 15th last year as far as breaking tackles. But Carnell Tate can be a number one if we'll get into this a little bit later. The Browns draft him at 6. It will improve whole wide receiver crew because you got Carnell Tate. Jerry Judy can be number 2, which he could be a solid number 2. You can do a lot of things with Bond. You also have Fannin, and we'll see what else they can do in the draft as far as the other tight end that they're going to pick. Because you rest assured they're definitely going to draft another tight end because Todd Monken loves 2 tight ends. The other receiver I like to talk about is Mekhi Lemon. Average 3 yards per route versus man, 3 yards per route versus zone. One of 2 receivers in his class to deliver 3 yards versus both man and zone. That's pretty good. Number 1, most receptions of thrown over 20 yards or more. Strong at the catch production, 27% mixed tackles rate force from Mekhi Lemon. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. 6.4 yards after the catch from Mekhi Lemon. He gets yak yards. That's something that Carnell Tate really doesn't do as far as compared between those two. The yards at the catch was pretty low. I think it was like 4 to 5 yards at the catch, which is good, but you want more yards, obviously, as a receiver. So as I was looking into this, I realized, you know what? I'm on James Frank. Shout out to James Frank. You've been on Lemon since day one. I've been stronger Mekhi Lemon guy now. I'm like, all right, his height kind of scares me a little bit. I think he's 6 footish, 5'9", 6 foot, 5'10". But if you can break tackles, you can catch the ball 20 yards downfield consistently. I'm all in on that. I'm all in. Now, I still like Omar Cooper Jr. I think those are my top 3 that I would love for the Browns to draft there as far as drafting receiver. We're going to get into a scenario in which the Browns can trade down. Maybe. There's some rumors going around. We'll see what happens. Quick Clip says Tate, Bond, and Fanning Jr. always get open, and that's a good receiving core if you ask me. And I totally agree with that, Quick Clips. If you can get Tate, Bond, Fannin, and even Jerry Judy at number 2, Jerry Judy can be a good number 2. Let's not dismiss that. And you have Sampson, and you have Junkins. I think, and you kind of shored up the offensive line a little bit to give Shedeur some more time. I think Shedeur can be successful with that. And that's all about me right now. That's all I want. I want to see what Shedeur can do this year with that type of talent. Not to question, not to even, we don't even think what the Browns could do in a later round. Like I think James Frank brought up Ted Hurst. That's a good guy that you can get in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. That just adds to the depth. Maybe they bring in somebody in to develop him because Jerry Judy might be gone next year. And that guy can slide in and be your number 2. He's in the system. He knows everything now. You give him a year to develop. He comes in next year and lights it out. Then you have your core, your young core of receivers, tight ends, and backfield. And if Shedeur does well, it's endless for next year. The draft would be great. If not, worst case, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, you could draft the quarterback. But if Shedeur has improved dramatically, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can sit there and pull the trigger on a quarterback if Shedeur goes from being one of the worst QBRs to, let's just say, top 15. That's dramatic improvement. Ted Hurt, that's his name, not Ted Hurst. My bad. Thanks, James, for the reminder. Yeah, so that's Casey Concepcion came in. He has a lot of route running ability. His catching is kind of sketchy at times. But we'll see. Also, I want to get into the news of the week. I should start off with this, but we're going to get right into this. David West said, wouldn't mind seeing Judy depart. He's proven that he can't be a number 1. That's why I don't mind Jerry Judy moving down to a number 2. Because if you can have Jerry Judy, Bond, and him, and Tate, I think that's a good core. And I just don't see them trading Jerry Jeudy this year or getting rid of him this year. I think they keep him for one more year, and I think his contract's more friendlier next year if you either cut him or trade him. That's just mine. Oh, it is hers. See, James, you messing me up, man. I knew I was right. I saw her. I thought you corrected me. Come on, man. James, you're supposed to be my boy on my podcast. Come on, man. I'm just messing. I'm just messing with you. Thanks. Chris Bell's another intrigue receiver that I wouldn't mind either. Denzel Boston too. Jeremy Bernard seems a little too small. I don't know. I want that. But the news of this week is pretty amazing. This is what you want to hear right before you get into the draft. Right? You want to hear that Andrew Berry did something amazing in last year's draft. The news of the week is that Andrew Berry fleeced the Jacksonville Jaguars because it came out yesterday that Travis Hunter will play corner mainly, and they're doing some gadget plays on offense periodically. That's what we love to hear as Browns fans. Because on our podcast, on the Bearded Browns podcast, when he was coming out, we were saying, hey, he's a better corner than receiver. You can't play him he can't play dual roles in the NFL. It's just gonna be too hard, too many plays. He's eventually gonna get injured, and he ended up getting injured. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars came out and said, hey, we made a mistake. You know, we're gonna pull back on him being the dual threat player, which was his value, by the way. The reason why you wanted to draft him, and most fans wanted to draft him at number 2, was saying, hey, you can play him at corner and receiver. And that's two positions in one, and you get him on a rookie contract. That's crazy. You have to get Hunter. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, no, like we're on the Bearded Browns podcast. We're like, no, you don't do that. A player cannot survive his whole career playing both sides of the field. He's going to eventually have to play one. And Andrew Berry did a great job this past draft selling him. Past draft just once acting like, hey, yeah, Travis Hunter is amazing. He called him a unicorn. He compared him to Shohei Ohtani. He had elite conditioning, viewed him as a wide receiver first, though. And that's the interesting thing. I don't know if Barry was talking out of his butt there, but he viewed him as an interesting wide receiver one, but a potential dual position player. Barry also emphasized that Hunter's ability to play high-level cornerback and wide receiver is unprecedented in the modern football era, meaning it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It is insane that we are here and you notice that Andrew Berry gets praise for that. I think we should give Berry some understanding that he bypassed a talent like Hunter, who probably will be a good to great corner, traded back, got Sampson, got Junkins, and got the 24th pick for him. That's a good haul. Depending on what they do for 24, it's going to add to it, right? Now, I just wish he would have drafted one quarterback last year. Choose between Dylan and Shador because you just mucked up the waters even more going into last year. Now you murked it up kind of even more because now you had Watson and him and Shador. And if you would have drafted Shador as opposed to Dylan, you probably would have got Xavier Watt, a better safety. And that's something you wouldn't have needed now. So it kind of is like a domino effect. Like he did a lot of good things last year, but then you look at that day 3 picks and you wonder, like, man, if you would have just done something a little different, it would have been 100%. 100%. James Frake says more proof that Barry isn't the problem. Just saying. That's true. Let's see what he does here. Let's see what he does in this draft. I'm a little more excited. I'm kind of on your side, James, but we'll totally get proof this year of how Barry will handle things here. It's going to be pretty exciting. Quick Clip says, you notice Cleveland media never gives Sanders a chance to win a starting position. Hope they know it will not happen like that. And Quick Clips, understand why that the Cleveland media doesn't give Shador the job yet, because how last year ended. And I know They ended 2 games, winning 2 games. They beat Cincinnati, but Shador only threw for 111 yards. Though not to dismiss credit for him, he did give us the game-winning drive field goal that put him in position to kick that ball and win the game. But 3 out of the 5 games that we've won, that he won, I would say the Titans game should have he that was his best game, was the Titans game. But 3 of those games that he played and he won, it was mainly defense, if we can just be real. Now, Shador didn't do anything to hurt-ish a little bit, but the media I'm just speaking as a fan, and I believe in Shador. I need to see a little more. I need to see just a little more from Shador. There's some throws that he did. There's some plays that some throws that he made that I'm like, man, that's amazing. But then you see him holding the ball for 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. He goes right back into what he did in Colorado, and something that he's going to have to learn to get rid of it. Matter of fact, we're going to talk a little bit about Shador because Todd Monken brought him up in his press conference, and we're going to get into that. Matter of fact, we're going to get into that right now. There's a couple of things at Todd Monken's press conference that he said that I liked. If you guys didn't listen to Todd Monken's press conference this week, I encourage you to do so. When asked about missing, the first thing he was asked about was missing the coach's photos, right? Because that's still a thing. Only in Cleveland is something that minor still a thing in the news. Like, oh my God, you missed the coach's photo. Why? And he's like, he told you he's getting a haircut. And the time was moved around. You know, he was getting a haircut and they changed the time because they changed the time. He wasn't there. And it's like this mentality of only in Cleveland will a new coach miss the coach's picture during his first year as a coach. And it's true. And he addressed it because there's a reporter that says, what do you do about this notion or this mindset of like anything that can happen bad in Cleveland will happen bad. And he simply just said one thing. And I was like, let's go. All right. He said, just win. Just win. You win and the narrative changes. And it's true. Winning is the difference between a good report being reported or a bad report being reported. Like typically we get a lot of bad reports here in the local media. Why? Because the team sucks so bad. Sucks. The team sucks so bad. So it is natural negativity that is pumping out. It's getting back in there. So the team's negative energy and then losing has put people in a negative mindset to want to be negative. But Monken says once you start winning, that changes. And there's proof. Baltimore totally messed up the whole Crosby thing. It was talked about for 2 days and we forgot about it. Why? Because they win. Diana Rossini. And I forgot the coach's name in New England, just slipped my mind. That situation. Crazy, right? How all of a sudden that Mike Vrabel, sorry, got it. Mike Vrabel and her, that situation, they were caught. They said they were just hanging out while holding hands or their fingers being locked in between each other. If my wife saw me with a picture of another woman like interlocking hands like this, that I wouldn't be here to talk to you today. Just being honest. But it's not being reported as bad for New England. It's bad for Rossini right now. She's getting shelved on The Athletic, not reporting anything because they're looking into it to make sure what her story is true. But meanwhile, Mike Vrabel ain't getting any hate. Why? Because he was in the Super Bowl last year. Winning changes everything. And quick clips, this goes back to your comment about why is the media so hatred towards Shador? Because he hasn't won. You win, everyone's happy. We'll forget about anything. Anything. Because as fans, we will forget anything if we win. because we're just selfish fans that just wants to see a good product on the field. Wrong or right? And the reason why the Deshaun thing has gotten so much hate is because he hasn't won. If he was winning, we would forget about everything he has done because we've made a couple of playoff appearances and maybe even pushed for a Super Bowl. Because when it comes down to it, nothing else matters in the game of football other than winning, right or wrong. And that's just the truth. So until the Browns start doing exactly what Todd Monkens said to do, we're going to continue to see every bit of hate coming out of the media. That's just truth. James Frake says Vrabel might not really be in the doghouse with the media, but I bet he's on the couch with us. Yes, he's definitely on the couch or in the car. He's probably out the house in the car. That's what I'm envisioning. Quick Clip says the Browns lose so much the fan base can't even imagine a good positive season. There has not been a good positive season outside the Joe Flacco magic in 2023. Now, you want to say it was a good positive season in retrospect to Shador? Most fans would disagree. And I would disagree because we won 5 games. And the reason why, because of that, we're going to get into it. Your defense had to play lights out in order to get those 5 wins. Second thing Todd Monkens says when asked about I talked about that. Let's go back to the first thing. He missed his hair. He said that he missed the picture because he wanted to get a sweet. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut. Like that dialogue is just amazing to me because he is just so like real, right? He's like, man, I don't know what the big problem is. I just try to get a sweet haircut. Why? What's the big problem? Sorry. I was trying to look good for the photo. James Fagg says, beating Pittsburgh to get into the playoffs and then in Pittsburgh was pretty sweet. Yes. But then the Flacco magic was good too, right? So we had that 2023, then reality 2024, and even worse reality last year. Next thing that Monken said that I liked a lot, he said Monken put a heavy stressor on the players to have responsibility to memorize and learn the playbook internally before they take the field with the coaching staff. You're like, well, Angel, that's obvious. They should, but it did look obvious when Kevin was here. It didn't seem like that was obvious. Monken is putting emphasis on players to know the plays before they hit the practice field because it's going to help them reach the next phase, which he wants players to play fast. He wants players to play fast, and in order to play fast, you have to know what you're doing. He says, I'm going to put you in a position to succeed, but you have to know what to do. And if you don't know what to do by reading a playbook, then you're not going to know what to do and you're not going to play fast and you're not going to play. I hope this is true. I hope it is true to the point where he keeps players accountable. You don't know a play, you're not playing. I don't care where you're drafted at. If you don't know the playbook, you're not playing. That type of culture, that type of mentality will change the culture of your Cleveland Browns, and it will plant seeds of winning. You may not see it this year, but if that culture is implanted in the soil in Berea, by next year, you'll start to see the harvest of winning. Because if you're demanding players to know the plays before they hit the field and you keep them accountable to that, because we can agree the last couple of years, it seemed like players didn't know what they were doing. Lining up in the wrong formation, lining up behind the line of scrimmage, in front of the line of scrimmage, going in motion when they shouldn't be in motion. It seemed like players did not know anything. But if Todd Monken could come in and put something so simple into action and it changes the culture and causes winning, I'm in. I'm in. Derek West said Monken is hilarious. Seems to like no nonsense straight shooter, was getting irritated as hell when the reporters were asking him stupid questions. And you can tell, that's a good point, Derek. You can tell that Monken was getting irritated, and you can tell in his face. He's like, and he's always like, he thinks before he speaks. So he's quiet. He's like, And and then he answers as respectful as he can. But sooner or later, he's not going to be respectful. He's going to be like, listen, guys, you guys are being stupid. Like, come on, for real. And the last thing that he said, and has a lot to do with Shador. Major focus moving forward is getting Shador utilize his athleticism to cut down the number of sacks that he has taken. There's a statistic that came up on Worn Shirt Football saying, and I got a lot of hate for posting it on my Facebook wall, that on my social media in general, not just Facebook. I get more hate on Facebook, but that Shador was responsible for 29% of his sacks. So a lot of people question that. They said, well, the offensive line, the receivers aren't getting separation. But according to Monken, who is here, who literally said it, we have to get him to use his athleticism to avoid sacks. Sacks that he takes. Sacks that he takes. Those were his words. He is taking sacks that he should not be taking. And that's something that he did in college. And that's something he kind of got better in the beginning, but started to tailspin toward the end, was taking sacks. Shador needs to learn to throw the ball away. Because if they're not open, live another play. Don't turn the ball over. Don't take a 15-yard sack. 1-yard sack is better than 15. But Todd Monken literally told us his focus is on getting him to utilize his athleticism, which is sneaky good. Doesn't get enough credit for it. So we're going to see how Todd Monken gets him to utilize his athleticism, something that he does good. They're going to focus on to highlight it so he can get better. If there's any chance of Shador getting better this year, it's in Monken's hands. That as a Browns fan, even if you're not a Shador fan, should want. Because once we find our quarterback, winning is possible. Winning is more probable than not. You need a quarterback, and it's proven. Proven that you can have a best defense in the league or a top 5. You can have a dude to break a sack record, and you can barely get 5 wins. A quarterback is a lot more needy than an edge rusher. Edge rusher is nice. It's a luxury to have. One as good as Myles is great to have. But if you don't have a quarterback, what did you have as a team? Quick Clip says, everyone said Sanders cannot run. We always knew Sanders can make the ball move, the chains, and run. Everybody else was surprised. We were not, meaning the Shador fans. I was one of those fans that was like, last year he was running. I'm like, hey, this guy needs to run a little more. He did not get enough credit for that coming out in the draft about his ability to be mobile. No, he's not a Lamar. He's not like a Michael Vick, but he's good enough to get out of tackles and to make plays, extend plays. And that's something I believe Monken is great at. The next thing that kind of dropped that's getting a lot of run right now is the Cleveland Browns trading back. Cleveland Browns trading back, specifically with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Browns had another 30 interview with a player, Bailey from Texas Tech, edge rusher. And a lot of people are like, well, why did they get an edge rusher? So there's a lot of ties. So, well, maybe they're going to get rid of Myles and then get another guy young and replace Myles with him and then get draft assets for Myles, which we'll talk about later. But it is Barry paying chess. Barry trying to play checkers with Dallas. This is just my take. Barry brought in Bailey, interviewed him. They may like him, they may not like him. But guess who caught note of that? The Dallas Cowboys, who is in desperate need of a pass rusher, who is sitting at 12, who may need to draft up to get said pass rusher that the Browns have shown interest in. So, my question is, would you be okay, Browns fans, if the Browns trade back to 12 and get 20 and do a swap? You trade back 6, 39, and you get 12 and 20, and then maybe a future first-round pick next year. Now, for me personally, I think this would be a good move because I think you can get a tackle that you need at 12. And personally, Omar Cooper Jr. can be there at 20 for you. Now, I don't want to give up 39 because I think 39 can also, or 24 can also snag you um, a good safety, a good corner that you need. I personally think that would be a smart move to do. Now, Barry is doing anything he can to put up smoke everywhere. Ty Simpson, I like Ty Simpson. We're going to interview this person. We're going to interview this pass rusher, this person, that person. All that is just to play the game. But what if? What if the Browns really do want to trade Myles Garrett? What if? What if it's not smoke and mirrors? What if the immaturity of Myles Garrett is getting to him? What if the speeding is becoming a little more than annoying to them? What if the fact that Myles Garrett is not being a leader in which that he said that he can be when he signed his contract? What if the team is just like, you know what, we're tired of being held hostage by the best pass rusher in the game? Most importantly, what if they saw last year and saw him break the sack record and it only led to 5 wins? And what if they're saying to themselves, what value is it having the best pass rusher on the team if it only gives us 5 wins? So what if somebody calls and trades Myles? Very interesting about Myles. What if we give you this, that, and this? Would you do it? Would you even entertain the thought of trading Myles? Now, we have to bring context to this because a lot of people are saying, no, that's crazy. Are you insane? Myles is 30 years old. The team is about 2 to 3 years away from actually performing consistently in the playoffs. Myles' contract is up in 3 years. Myles has a no trade clause in which he has control over where he can be traded. Myles demands a lot for a team that is trying to build young through the draft. Do you think Myles Garrett is going to want to come back next year after winning 5 to 7 games? Ask yourself this question. Will you, Myles Garrett, after getting another 20-sack season, only leading 5 to 7 wins yet again, no playoff push, yet you're here in Cleveland without a quarterback or with an offense that just isn't ready to move yet? It's there. It's better than what it was 2 years ago, even last year. But you just don't have the notion, the motivation to continue. Myles Garrett's value is as high as it's ever been. Now, if you wait till next year and he gets 20 sacks, it might be even higher. Myles Garrett doesn't want to go to Canton, from Cleveland to Canton, without playoff appearances, playoff wins, and Super Bowl appearances. Myles Garrett wants rings. He's made that known. And if the team cannot put him in a position to win rings, do you think it is wise to keep a player on your team that is grumpy, disgruntled, and hates being there? What value does he have? What if you can get 3 number ones for him? Now, you're saying, Joe, that's ridiculous. That's just, you're not going to get 3 number ones from him. Max Crosby was about to get 2. Micah Parsons got 2 and a defensive tackle. You're telling me that Myles Garrett cannot get you 3 number 1 draft picks? I understand the greatness of Myles. I understand that he's probably the best player to ever don the uniform outside of Jim Brown. But at some point, if not this year, the Browns fans are going to have to come to the realization that Myles Garrett will not finish his career here as a Brown unless there's a dramatic turn offensively. And is Shador going to be the dramatic turn in which we see as Browns fans? Can we see it? Can we see, instead of 7 wins, can we see a playoff push or a playoff win that will motivate Myles to not be as whiny and complaining? Myles Garrett has a thing in his contract that he can get $1 million signing bonus, $1 million workout bonus, but he has to attend 84% of the mini camps, the OTAs, and training camps. He already missed voluntary workouts. That counts as one. I know a lot of Browns fans don't think that counts, but it counts. It's in his contract. When do you start to worry about Myles' dedication to this team? When he's not there, helping, developing young players. Because to me, I would love Myles to be that. I understand he's not that. I accepted that. Myles is not the guy that's going to go at camp and develop young players early on because he's got other things to do. Or maybe he just doesn't want to be here. We have to have that conversation. I'm on one podcast that doesn't want to have that conversation. So I'm having a conversation on my podcast. I just have this feeling that Myles Garrett doesn't want to be here. And what if Barry can do something so great that he can change his Myles Garrett, trade him in for 3 number ones, and transform this team within 2 to 3 years to where we're contending and we're playing? It's already proven the last 2 years that you cannot win with the best pass rusher in the game, but yet fans still want to keep him here as if there's value there, because we have the notion, what if our offense is good? What if our defense continues to be good under Myles Garrett? I'm just on the side of what if. I understand this is not a topic most Browns fans want to touch because Myles is untouchable. But if you have only won 8 games, 9 games in 2 years with the best pass rusher in the game, what value does he have? And whenever you ask a question like that to fans, the only thing that comes out is emotion. Well, Myles is going to retire a Brown. He cannot ever lead the Browns. Like we've seen throughout the years, we've always had that thought. Nick Chubb, not a Brown. The only person that retired a Brown is because he wanted to was Joe Thomas. But if he wanted to get traded, they would have traded him. But Myles Garrett is not Joe Thomas. Myles Garrett wants to win rings, and he has said it last year during his trading tour. What are we going to do, Browns fans? We're going to continue to root for this team. We're going to continue to hope Myles Garrett shows up and continue to root for Myles when he gets sacks. But if this team does not show any improvement by next year offensively, I think next year there's going to be a problem in the force that's going to cause Myles Garrett to move out of Cleveland. That's just my take. Now, this year, enjoy him if he's still there. There's a lot of take. There's a lot of move. There's a lot of smoke around Myles might be traded this year. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know. I don't know if I want to commit to trading him this year. I want to see what this defense will look like and what Shador can do, because I think Shador can at least bring us some wins to where we can be respectable, because the schedule is a little easier this year. So you might get some extra wins there. But I just don't see us being good in 2 years to where we're pushing for playoff spots consistently. Because if Shador doesn't work out, you best believe the Browns are going to draft another quarterback. And do you think Myles Garrett is going to stand there saying, yeah, I'll come back and develop another rookie quarterback under this regime? Because I've done it 50 times since I've been here. We've had 16, 20 quarterbacks come in through this door since I was drafted in 2017. What's one more? I'm just trying to understand it from the Myles Garrett's perspective. And I understand it. So I'm just asking fans to separate your fandom and understand that this player, Myles Garrett, may not want to be here much longer. And if the Browns could get, Derek West said, you got to believe. I've been believing since 99, and that's gotten nothing other than 2 playoff wins or 2 playoff appearances, 1 win. This is about accumulating assets at this point. And Barry has always said that accumulating assets is important. Barry said this. Barry wants to maximize the pick, and it doesn't necessarily mean drafting the best player or need at that time. It could also mean the picks you're getting. You trade a player, and the more picks you get, the more picks you have the opportunity to get a player in which your team becomes well to where they're good. Barry wants to maximize picks, and the picks doesn't necessarily mean drafting the best player or need. It can also mean that picks getting you more shots at drafting players in a trade back or a trade of a player. Myles is an asset, whether on the field or as a trade piece. Eventually, the Browns organization is going to have to decide what asset is that and which one's more important. Well, guys, thank you for tuning into this live today. Much appreciate the comments. I much appreciate you guys' voting. I'm assuming that most of us want a receiver at 6, or the Browns have drafted a receiver, so that's great. Thank you for following the podcast. Don't forget our draft party. Yes, our draft party is going to be here at PJ McIntyre's, April 23rd, 7 p.m. We're going to have Allstate there giving out free drinks to people who want to come and enjoy themselves. So you get 1 free drink with a quote, 5-minute survey. You just fill it out, and then she gives you cash. You go buy a drink. Cleveland Ketchup is going to be passing out chips for you to eat. So you get free food and free drinks. You get entertainment from the Bearded Browns there. Me, Sam, Mike is going to be there. We're going to try to get some fun things together for you guys. I'm going to have my brother there. My younger brother is going to be there with me. We're going to be out in the crowd getting content, recording Browns fans before and afters probably of what happens with the draft pick. It's going to be a fun night. It's free. Come on, pack the place. Come early. We were told to get there about 5:36 to get in the front, so you can be by us. You know, we can see you and we can meet you. And if you don't get there early enough, at least come to the front and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. Watch you guys every week. We would love to meet those that faithfully watch every week. It would mean a lot to us if you do that. Also, don't forget our sponsor of the month here is Clean Slate Clean Outs. Call them today if you need anything cleaned out. If you have a garage that you've been meaning to clean out for years and it's just nothing but trash, they'll haul it away for you. Also, too, my wife is a therapist at Rest and Renew Therapy, Rest and Renew Counseling, Ohio.com. Go there, Rest and Renew Ohio Counseling.com. Rest and Renew Counseling Ohio.com. That's Rest and Renew Counseling Ohio.com. Sign up for a 15-minute meetup. It's free. She can help you through any situation you're going through. And you know what? She takes some insurances too. Maybe you guys can connect and you can talk to her about the problems that you're going through in life, and she'll give you great advice. Either way, Quick Clip says one more thing. Angel, you see what I mean? You can't even fathom the Browns winning this year or next year. Like Shador said, you have to change your philosophy about winning. Sad. I would change my philosophy upon winning when I start to see it, because the Browns have done nothing but draft quarterbacks that have failed. So it is my right as a fan to wait to see it in order to believe it. That's just my take on it. Now, I believe in Shador. I think Shador can be the next quarterback, but I am not putting all my eggs in one basket. because I will find myself crying in the corner, and then I'll have to call my wife for therapy because the Browns hurt my heart again. You see how I tied those two together. Either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week on the Typical Browns Fan Podcast. Tuesday, 7:30, Bearded Browns. Saturday, 10 a.m., Browns Morning Brew. Don't forget to tune into those two. Until next time, like always, go Browns.